So welcome to the club. I know you was trying to hold on to that last vestige of youth for a while now.
Yeah, I'm trying to get into it.
You got to embrace it.
Exactly, baby. Because it's like,
I don't know why you touched it.
What you should have just done this morning?
You jump on his phone like these.
He sold his old house. Completely paid.
Yeah, we got Spark. How you doing this morning, man? You look a little exasperated. You all right?
Killing each other for the phone, man. I'm like, no, man, that's you.
So what? I'm just fixing my camera, man. I got to look good.
You got kind of lukewarm on me about.
What did I say we were going to talk about? Key, do you remember?
I do.
What was it?
We were actually, so last week when we were discussing Denzel and Eddie Murphy movies, you said your Mount Rushmore of your favorite actors, and then I said I would have to chop mine up into different categories and different genres of movies.
Oh,
So
well,
you were
I
like,
mean,
yeah, we should do that for next week. I said, well, you need to send that out for the guys.
if they don't know they're Mount Rushmore, then I don't know what we're dealing with. Because I don't know. I think I know mine, and a couple of them kind of stretch across a couple of genres, I guess, like drama and comedy.
Here's a question I have. Here's a question I have for you. I know the answer already, but
the question you
how can you have Denzel and Viola on your Mount Rushmore of your favorite actors and not have watched Fences?
not to watch what?
Fences.
I didn't hear the name of the movie.
Fences.
Oh, Fences. I don't know. I had read some stuff about the play at one time, and I really wanted to watch it, but then they were saying that like the movie was not as whoever they are. But I was reading reviews about the movie wasn't as good as the play, I think, or the movie took some liberties that weren't in the play. I don't know. I hadn't watched it. I need to. But as far as your question is concerned, I mean that's just one movie, right? That's one movie out of when we were going through Denzel's catalog. Well, we went back to what 81? The first one with Carbon Copy, was that 81, 82, somewhere in there?
Yeah.
And then
Somewhere in there.
all the way up until like yesterday when the Equalizer 3 dropped. So that's a lot. That's a lot of time.
No, but is there another movie that they're in together?
I don't think so. To my knowledge, I don't think so. But Viola.
How do you have two of your favorite actors in one movie? Here's my hypothesis. You didn't like the subject matter. You have an aversion to touchy-feely movies, I think.
I mean, all right. I mean, I was going to disagree with that, but I mean, it's a little bit, yeah. I like a little bit more realism in my movies. I like a little bit more. I don't want to suspend. I don't want to totally suspend disbelief in a movie, right? I mean, it has to be something that I can point to and go, yeah, that could happen. And Fences obviously, it's something that could happen or could have happened, but uh, you may be right. If I had a little time to think about it, I probably could disagree and bring some points of some movies that I like or kind of touchy feely, but as I think about it, I really don't because it's too much. Like we always talk about that Will Smith movie. Now, this is how I know that my phone and everything else in here is kind of listening to me because in my YouTube feed again, one of a couple of scenes from The Pursuit of Happiness came up. Right? You remember the scene where Will Smith is outside, where his character is outside, and the guy's trying to hail a cab, and he needs $5. He says, "Just give me $5." He looks in his wallet, and he's got like I don't know, $12 or something like that. He goes ahead and gives him the. It's just too much, man. How many bad things can happen? I'll take that back. A lot of bad things can happen to people, but geez, yeah, it was just okay.
You know what your answer just sound like. You was asked the question like you was in a Senate.
Senate all committee hearing.
You just talked all around that question.
Where you think I'm gonna lean into the mic and get some advice? I can neither confirm or deny that. No, okay. I mean, he has a point that I probably don't really like a lot of touchy feely movies, unless it's. You know what? You're right. This is too much. I want to.
3, 4.
Yeah, I should have took the fifth on it. There are many amendments to the Constitution. All right, you ready to get going?
Yeah.
So, hey, D, thanks for joining us. Thanks for kind of being on time, kind of shorter on time.
You hit me up 2 minutes prior to saying, "Are we going or am I going?"
See,
Yep.
that's what I was saying.
Say, hey, we going Sunday, so
We go Sunday at 12 or 12 my time, and on as the the sun gets closer to wherever your location is. Every Sunday at this time, right? Last week you and Mark couldn't make it. Me and G did it. Right? Next week, one of y'all somebody else may not be able to make it. I'm gonna be here every Sunday because
Man, you commit now, huh?
Yeah, I'm committed.
Okay.
But that's me.
Okay.
That's me. And I know that some of you guys aren't as committed as I am. Right? I'm just saying.
Ooh, that passive aggressiveness.
I'm just saying I understand that I am completely committed and some of you may not be. And if you aren't, then I can appreciate that. I can appreciate, you're not, because you got other things to do in life, right? She has grandkids, Mark has to go and who's gonna be down in school, I'm pretty sure these gotta mop up that dungeon every Saturday or Sunday.
I knew it.
I know. I'm sure the floor gets sticky. I don't know what the substance is. I'm just sure the floor gets sticky. Right? So that's maintenance, right?
Hey,
I thought it was all water soluble.
Oh my!
I on the other hand, I go to early service for church on Sundays, right? So I go to sunrise, and then I come and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. So, but listen, I appreciate you guys showing up, man. And so listen,
Mark, that's your brother.
What
Say,
is
hey,
sunrise service?
the floor is open. So you guys let me have it. What you got?
That's the sunrise service.
Say again?
Where's the sunrise service?
When does it start?
Is it at Pastor Pillar's church?
Yes.
Deacon Sheets?
Mm.
No. I mean, it starts at, as the name implies, sunrise. So I get there early Sunday morning, and do all the things that you do there, right? I sing and and lay hands.
Oh,
Uh,
God.
You got a folded chair in your hands.
Honk for Jesus.
Hey, have you ever saw that movie?
Yeah.
You ever seen that movie? Have you guys that movie that I thought I really wasn't gonna like,
I was dying laughing.
but it is an excellent movie, man.
Yep.
It is an excellent movie. And Sterling K. Brown, I think, is one of he's always been one of my favorite actors.
Yeah. I didn't know he had kind of humor in it, but he was good.
Yeah, he was real good in that movie, man. He was real good. You ever see it, Mark or G?
I still
Honk
had
if you love, Honk if you love Jesus or something like that.
Honk for Jesus.
Jesus.
Honk for Jesus, yeah.
Yeah. And Regina, Regina gonna do her thing no matter what.
She was shockingly good in that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the
And
thing
what
is,
movie?
Huh?
What movie?
Honk for Jesus.
Oh yeah. Oh, I did see that. Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah.
It was.
because it wasn't a big cast, right? And those two
They
held the whole movie.
Yeah. They care.
Yeah, that was a good movie. I'm looking at Mark. You got you hadn't watched it, have you?
I hadn't watched it. No.
What we gonna do with you, man?
I told you I'm not a big movie guy, man. But if you tell me one, I'll sit there and look at it. I'll tell you that. So I guess I'll look at Home for Jesus and
I think isn't it on Netflix? Oh no, it's on Amazon. It's on Amazon
on Prime. Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
Prime. And it didn't go to the theaters either, did it? It was a made for a Prime made for
They
TV.
came out during the whole COVID thing, so they were circumventing the theater thing, so it just went straight to stream.
Yeah. You're right. But that was a great movie, and I mean it kind of threw me off, because you see it coming, but you don't see it coming. How you wondering what the issue was. What you don't think so, G?
No, it was a good movie, but I almost knew from the onset how that was going. I thought it was kind of predictable, but
I think it was real life stuff though, in black churches. That's what made it easy to decipher what was going to go down.
Yeah.
But it was a reality that should not have been shocking for those people.
Exactly.
So I thought it was going to be the fact that it was some type of infidelity in their marriage or some type of extramarital affair, right? But knowing that there had been a couple of these black preachers at mega churches who got caught up in these scandals.
It was loosely tied to. That's what it was based on. That's
right.
That was.
But I didn't think they were going. I didn't think it was going to be a homosexual.
Well, not because that's what's going on.
Yeah, but yeah. So I thought that was going to be kind of the head fake, right? You would think that, and then it would be, just he was having an affair with someone close to his wife or someone in. It kind of amazed me, but again, fantastic.
No, I thought it was just kind of, it was predictable, like Derek said, because it was tied to recent headlines. I kind of knew how it was going, but Regina Hall is one of my favorite actresses. So I could watch her in it.
I've seen her in a few things, I guess. I'm trying to pull up her Get Down now.
Yeah, while you're doing that, I don't know what entails for a spouse of someone leading a church, but I empathize with her character of what she had to endure for his namesake. To me, it was about him.
You think?
Yeah.
I thought it was actually about her.
I thought it was about him.
Yeah, I thought it was about her. I thought it was more how what she had to sacrifice in order for him to be who he was.
I empathize with her, with that character, as to what she had to endure for his namesake. But yeah, it was showing, what she had really endured for him. Because he wasn't really, for him, it was all about him.
Well, that's how those kind of those churches work, though, right? I mean, it's a preacher, who's usually a male, usually a man, and then there's the first lady, right, of the church who does whatever they do. But yeah, I thought.
But was it more about the church or was it more about the infidelity in general?
To me, it was more about the nuances of running a mega church and just everything that goes on behind the scenes.
Is it about a powerful leader in infidelity, not just the church? Were they trying to make a point where?
To me, the infidelity was the side note. It was more about what was going on with him and her and their interactions and what they were willing to do to save namesake. To me, that's what it was about.
And it sounds more like the Clintons, with something happening like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, so it's about
parallels.
It's about a powerful man who has people around him who kind of I mean, I wouldn't call, well, I guess they are sort of sycophants, right? So that, whatever he does, everybody kind of like, signs on to it or co-signs to it, in order for him to be able to continue the work that he's doing, in the church, right? That's kind of what I got from it. And that's, like Mark said, I mean, it's one of those things that as old as relationships themselves. It's a man who has put himself in a position where he has a lot of people who support him, and then those things that he does that would usually kind of wreck any other man's life, these people kind of hide it and help him cover it up, all for whatever they think the greater purpose is.
Yeah. And also, they were doing that whole trying to be transparent by having a film crew filming what was going on with them on a daily kind of thing. So that was another nuance that was thrown in there. It was like a film crew, like almost like as if they were doing a documentary,
right,
within the movie.
Yeah, so the whole thing was like a faux documentary, I guess. One of those things where you always know that at some point they're going to say, turn the cameras off or get the cameras out of here, because whatever So that transparency the transparency kind of collapses on itself when you start really getting into the actual meat and potatoes of what's going on, right? So
another good thing when her mother came over for breakfast and she was talking about leaving him, and her mother was like, "Nah, look at what all he's done for you, and you think your dad was this way," and that just again that outside influence of, play your role. You got all of this because again it got tied to stuff. You see these guys out here, Creflo Dollar and all the rest of them. They got jets and they got these big houses and all these cars, and they showing all of that. And he flossing with all his stuff, and yeah, I mean it was real to me.
Hey, can I throw a side note in this right quick? Other than the movie, if I was looking at this podcast right now, I would think, gee,
He's in prison.
And more prison.
You look like you're in a jail cell, bro. You got a book and everything.
yeah.
And the white beater.
I'm in the grandson's bedroom.
Okay.
This big D fatty though.
Yeah, those are their bunk beds. It keeps giving me a bad internet connection. I think I might have to go log in on my laptop. I don't know what's going on with my tablet. I thought it was because I was upstairs and the signal might have been bad, but that's not the reason. I think it's my device.
Yeah, because you're real you're real kind of choppy on the signal and let me ask you this question. Did you actually pay your bill? I mean, I'm just wondering. No, I'm serious. Because sometimes they just slow down the service to give you a hint that you need to pay your bill. If you didn't, that's fine. I know a lot of stuff comes up.
It may be this heat.
Okay. Well, I mean, so it's hot all over the world right now. I mean, it's hot. I know it's hot in California.
Oh yeah, we just got this rain just came probably about 2-3 this morning. Everyone waited yesterday. I mean, we kept getting all these alerts, flash flooding this, and be prepared. Nothing happened. It was just dark all day yesterday. So I went on to a concert down in Chula Vista, and it came back. Still nothing going on. Woke up this morning to rain, so it's coming down pretty good.
Who'd you see?
Culture Club.
Really?
Yep.
Culture Club.
Yep.
Who else?
Berlin and Howard Jones, I think it was.
Howard Jones? Wow. That's pretty nice. Pretty interesting concert there.
Hey man, it was the vet ticks. It cost me nothing but time.
I hear you. Hey, G, I mean, this podcast is terrible right now. We've been going almost 30 minutes. I don't think we talked about anything of stuff. Well, we did talk about a couple of things. G, your screen is completely frozen. Can you hear us?
Frozen, G.
Okay, well, whatever cable company down there probably just said he ain't gonna pay.
250 minutes. You can't do 250 minutes in a month. Can't pay by the minutes no more.
And their pose and look on his face is priceless.
G looked like he got Fleece Johnson as a roommate.
He got that look on his face right now. He don't want them lights to go off.
Did y'all have to catch this guy being released from prison or whatever? He did a little interview. Man, it is hilarious to see.
What are you talking about, Fleece Johnson?
Fleece Johnson, he's out of jail now.
Yeah, I saw I saw like half of it, but half of the interview, but it was just it's so bizarre. I just had to just I said,
You talking about him being out, right?
yeah. His post prison interview.
Yes. He got no fronts. I mean, it just
Fronts are gone. I mean, they've been gone for a while. Fleece Johnson got to be what he got to be in his mid-60s or something.
yeah, at least. Because he looked a whole lot different than what he was.
I mean, he looks way older. And I don't think those interviews were that long ago when he was doing the stuff in prison. But man, he looks so much older now.
Yes, he does.
Do you ever see the cartoon version of it?
Yeah, the Boondock.
Boondocks. That was
I
that
mean,
right there.
somebody gold, man, I'm telling you. And that was something that the Boondocks could do was, take reality and put it in their cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I love a pimp named Slickback. That was my joint there.
yeah. And when he said no, you say the whole name like you say a tribe called
Quest.
Quest. He said you got to say the whole name. I was like, wait a minute, I don't get it. And then I thought, whoa, that was genius. And I don't know if Aaron Magruder wrote that or if Cat Williams wrote it, but whoever did, when they put that, like you got to say the whole name like a tribe called Quest. Yeah, all right, that's funny.
I think that was Cat Williams right there that did that.
Yeah, that had to be.
Something like that. I had to put on a script.
Old girl was running behind that car. She was like, I can't get a job. I can't. Wait, Daddy, wait. Right.
He got in the car and just left. He running down the street.
43, 42.
Yeah.
Man, you sound just like him.
Man, that's my favorite there, boy. That's my go-to. When I need a chuckle, I can watch that skit there.
That is definitely good for a chuckle every time. Because that is hilarious.
What did y'all ever think about Black Jesus? Have you ever talked about that?
Well, we can continue to talk about it and wait for G to get back on because he is a Black Jesus aficionado. I watched maybe a couple of episodes out of the first season and then kind of, here and there. But I wasn't really a big fan, I guess.
They can't. I mean, you could do a remake, but now you don't have Charlie Murphy or John Witherspoon because they really kind of made the series too. So especially Charlie Murphy.
Yeah, Charlie Murphy carried a lot of it. And the guy who was in the lead role, I can't think of his name now. Flink Johnson.
Yeah, Flink Johnson.
Yeah, he was good in there too. I thought he was good in the lead role, but I really didn't watch a whole lot of Black Jesus. But it's funny. What I did watch, it was funny.
And I mean, it was a cast of characters, man. They brought all of them together, and it just, I don't know. They were doing like, they take some of the Bible and try to put it in reality, but they did a lot of cursing in it, which I couldn't believe. But that was Adult Swim, so I'm like, okay, I get it now.
You could believe Charlie Murphy was cussing?
I mean, I'm talking about, as far as the show is concerned.
Oh, yeah. But it was Adult Swim, like you say, and that production company, I guess, was always kind of irreverent with all of the stuff they did. Because I mean, you can watch some of the cartoons that they used to put out.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, cartoons drop more F-bombs than that I've heard in a long time, man.
So I have a question. So, Mark, when you say you were surprised about the language that they were using when referencing scriptures, why were you put off by that. I mean,
when you get those kind of characters that are on there, they got a lot of followers.
mhm.
And I know that they use the sort of language, but when you bring it to TV like that,
Mhm.
but then I had to think about, okay, this was an Adult Swim, so, and it does tell you right before the thing, strong language and situations.
So it wasn't tied to religion or anything. You just the
No,
fact.
no, it wasn't. It wasn't a problem with me. I'll just say that it was
Right.
not a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that stuff, especially on something like Adult Swim, is not too. I wasn't shocked that they were cursing.
Mhm.
Regardless of what the kind of the underlying subject matter was, right? So it's got you got this, black guy who's actually Jesus, and then you think that it's going to tone down some of the, some of the stuff in there, but I think it went when Charlie Murphy, I think it went higher than what it probably should have been, right? It was kind of over the top, which made it even funnier, right? So.
But they had some funny episodes. I mean, some hilarious episodes. And then they just started bringing new people in. They had DC Curry on there acting like a politician or whatever. That was a funny episode.
DC Curry. In a minute.
I always liked DC Curry. I thought that he would probably going to be a bigger star than he was or is, I guess. I always thought DC Curry was real funny.
His voice is going out now. So,
Oh, really?
yeah. I don't know
Wow.
what, but his voice, kind of starts slowly. He's more growly now. If you ever listen to any of his stand up, it's
Yeah.
almost like he's struggling to try to talk.
I mean, I always thought DC Curry was real fun. I mean, the stand up and any of the movies that he was, especially like Next Friday is just a classic. But I was watching some stuff about that. I think it was before one of the podcasts we were having. But Ice Cube said that he wrote that part for what's the cat's name? Michael Collier.
Michael Collier, yes, yes.
He said he wrote that part for Michael Collier, and I guess Michael Collier had some type of conflict with the scheduling,
mm-hmm.
and he couldn't do it. And that's when DC Curry took the part, which like a lot of other stuff, right? Once those guys are in that in that role, it's possible to imagine anybody else doing it, right? But yeah, so that was supposed to be a Michael Collier.
I think Collier would have been funny in it, but it was a perfect fit with DC Curry.
I think DC Curry and John Witherspoon were perfect for those two roles because they had the just enough of the fatherly kind of vibe to them, right? And I don't know if Michael Collier could have kind of pulled that off because he's a little bit more. What's the word I'm trying to use here? I think Michael Collier may have been almost too cool to play that part. Yeah, and the whole scheme of what's being cool is. So I don't know. That's just my thought. But I can't see anybody else playing that part other than DC Curry.
Yeah, not now. It's just like when what's his name? Smokey. What's his real name?
Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker. When he stopped doing the Fridays, you thinking, hey, you can't have a movie without Smokey in there. Come Mike Epps.
But I think the cool thing about that was that Mike Epps did not, in the scheme of the movie, Mike Epps did not try to play Smokey, right? Like Smokey
Right.
2. Right. He brought a whole different vibe to it, I think. Because I mean, if I would ask the question like to you three, so you got Mike Epps playing second to Q, and you had Chris Tucker doing it the first time. Who's better in their role?
Mike Epps, hands
Mike
down.
Epps was a good. It was something he brought that other element of humor to it, like that. This is his cousin kind of thing, and you're like, dang, they don't want nobody don't like you anyway, you know. And the whole scene with those girls chasing him around the car, all of that to me was just classic stuff.
I said one thing: all three of them couldn't work together. It was funny, but all three of them couldn't work together.
It's like
much.
Yeah, I mean, it's like having three superstar shooters on the floor at the same time. Not enough basketballs out there, right? It wouldn't have been enough jokes for Chris Tucker and Mike Epps to be on screen at the same time. Right?
And I encourage y'all to look at the behind the scenes of the making with Mike Epps, ad-lib the whole thing.
I saw some of that.
Whole part on that.
Yeah. Chris Tucker ad-libbed a lot of the stuff in the first Friday too. I was watching the thing with the guy who played Red, DJ Pooh was saying that Chris Tucker, a lot of it, if you like look at the script, it's like, Craig says this, his sister says that, and then it's like, Smokey, and then it's like blank, and it's just let Chris Tucker say the shit he's gonna say in the context of the scene. So yeah, man. But that type of ad-libbing in a movie, one, it shows how talented those guys are, and two, just to be able to do that range, to be able to kind of adapt into those situations and make it funny is amazing to me. Hey, G, when you dropped off, we were talking about, we can't hear you, brother.
Can
Okay, I hear you now.
Okay.
We were talking about Black Jesus, and I was telling him that you were a Black Jesus aficionado.
That was a marvelous series. Short-lived. I don't know why.
How many seasons?
3.
Yeah. And I think because the lead actor wanted to go off and do something else is why they only got 3 seasons.
Slink Johnson?
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing him in anything else.
And there you have it.
Stand-up comedian?
Say again?
Was Slink a stand-up comedian?
I don't know. I've never seen any stand-up he had. I guess he could have been. I don't know. But
back to Mike Epps and the Friday series. It's hard for me to grasp how somebody who was initially in stand-up and then started doing movies and then went back to stand-up is now horrible in stand-up. Mike Epps I wouldn't watch Mike Epps in stand-up if he was out in my backyard. He's a great MC. He's a great host.
Yes.
Which is his forte. But him on his own, his last 2 stand-ups, I distinctly remember. I had the DVD. Huh?
No, go ahead, G. Yeah, the DVD.
Yeah. I think I distinctly remember throwing that joke out my window. It was trash. So I think he's found his niche. say what you will about, those movies. You know, everybody like, Next Friday and Friday After Next. All About the Benjamins was just okay. Um, I'm a huge fan of Janky Promoters. I think that Janky Promoters is a horrible movie that is absolutely funny. It is. It absolutely, and it's another vehicle in which you realize just how bad an actor Ice Cube is.
Well, I have always, and I'll stand by it. Ice Cube, he is not a good actor. I mean,
I said that. He is a terrible actor.
he obviously talented, obviously has a knack for business, and will be, thought of one of the hottest MCs ever, if you do a top 50 or whatever, but acting, ooh.
You know what Ice Cube ought to do in the movie? He ought to be the one that say, okay, scene, cut. That's all he needs to do.
He is I mean, I watched what was the first one he was doing with the kids with
Are we there yet?
are we there yet? Yeah. Yeah. Was not good at all. Had a lot to be desired.
Hey, y'all still hadn't seen that movie Dangerous Grounds he was in, right?
Yeah, I've seen it.
You've seen Dangerous Grounds.
Yeah, I saw it.
I have seen it. I started to watch it and then I realized I had seen it.
Okay.
I started to watch it too, and then I realized that I'd walked out on one of the parts, and I'm like, well, you fooled me once, right?
He's not even a good character actor because he brings the same element to everything he does because he can't. I think he's just being who he is. I mean, he has no range. So
Right.
he doesn't fit a good character actor.
Just like Kevin Hart. He's the same person in every movie.
Yeah.
Right. And most of them are, right? But you have to be good at it. So,
but at least be good at what you're doing.
I always make this
Yes.
I always make this this analogy, right? So one of the guys I love is Vince Vaughn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vince Vaughn is the same guy in almost every movie he plays. I mean, so it was one I think Clay Pigeons.
Clay Pigeons
was not, he wasn't playing Vince Vaughn, right? I mean, he wasn't doing this whole Vince Vaughn thing. And it was another one.
Kind of sort of was.
I got to rewatch it then, G, because usually Vince Vaughn is playing. He's the same guy in every movie.
Now be cool. Now
look at some of his earlier stuff. Something called Locust something was really really good. It was a drama series, not series, movie. It's called Locust something Locust. That was the first movie I actually seen him in, and really really good. And then when he did True Detectives on HBO.
That was just not. He was not good in True Detective, man.
But it was a different role.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So here's what I would challenge you to do then. Watch Wedding Crashers, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and then go watch Clay Pigeons. He is the same in all three movies, with the exception that in Clay Pigeons, it's a murder mystery, and it's a drama. But the mannerisms are all the same.
I'm gonna go and watch it again because Clay Pigeons. I love Clay Pigeons. But I don't remember it. I don't remember him being, because if you watch if you watch Wedding Crashers or Anything he did, like on Curb Your Enthusiasm, when he was on the last few seasons of that. He kind of plays the same guy. Even in movies way back like Swingers or the one that him and John Favreau did where they were kind of promoters. I can't think of the name of that one.
Oh, I thought they were mob guys that
Mob guys.
they had to go out and collect some money, or it was something that's the same. There's a part in Clay Pigeons where he's talking to Joaquin Phoenix, and I can't remember where it was at. It might have been in a bar or out at the lake or some shit. But it reminded me so much of a conversation that he was having with Brad Pitt in the diner in Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It's the same mannerisms. It's the same speech. Just it's a crime. It's a crime movie. And it's a drama.
I'm gonna go back and watch that and watch Clay Pigeons because I can do that this evening because I love that movie. I just don't remember him, doing this whole Vince Vaughn thing in that one. I mean, it's possible.
Okay.
It's possible.
Look at The Locust. It's called The Locust.
The Locust.
Yeah.
It must have been when was that? That must have been back there a few years.
93, I think it was. 90. Nope. 97 actually.
Wow, that's still got some age on it. Okay. Yeah, that's what 25 years, I guess.
Yeah,
26 years. Yeah. Yeah, we'll check. I'll check that out. All right. So, what else, guys?
Another good watch would be I watched this thing. Let's see, today's Sunday, so it had to be. I think I finished it up Thursday or Friday, but it was called Under the Banner of Heaven with Andrew Garfield, Sam Worthington, some whole lot of other people. Probably it was a part series. Just whoa! I mean,
is that the one about the Mormons?
Yeah, the Mormons and the LDS stuff. I had no idea about so much of that stuff that was going on, and the whole Brigham Young thing. Of course, you know about BYU, but do you know about Brigham Young? It goes. I mean, it just had so many layers to it. Probably the best miniseries I've ever watched.
Really?
Yeah.
So there is another documentary about that same incident. That's the one with the papers, right? The Brigham Young papers, or is this the one where some guy put a bomb in somebody else's car and okay, so there was another documentary about Mormons, about the LDS Church. I think it was on Netflix that covered some of the stuff that's in Under the Banner of Heaven too, I think. Yeah, but I'll check that out.
Yeah. And I had no idea. And I just happened to be, and then once I completed it, once I finished watching it, I was just kind of perplexed as to what I was feeling after it was over. There was some sense of wanted to cry a little bit, then I wanted to add more questions, and it left me in this paradox of, what do you do with this now? And then I'm watching the credits, and I was like, seeing it was Ron Howard, Michael Glasser. I was like, okay, this is why this was so good. I mean, just put together very, very well.
Is that Hulu?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I saw it on my Hulu splash screen a few months ago, but I never watched it because I thought it was the same. I thought they were covering the same incident about this other documentary I had seen.
It is very, very good. Very good. Andrew Garfield he does a magnificent job in that. And I just didn't know about the whole thing between LDS and Mormon. I've had like a couple of Mormons work for me, and I tried to, just pick their head, talking about Joseph Smith, and all this. And to me, I didn't get enough of the information. So yes, it was a path of knowledge for me because I love to learn. So anything that strikes me that makes me want to research it and find out more about it, it was very, very interesting, very interesting. And you see the same nuances play out.
Yeah.
The lady that just got recently convicted of killing her husband and her 2 kids, she was LDS, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Or something of LDS?
I didn't know
Yeah.
my in-law was LDS. Had no, I was like, oh shit, I know you grew up Lutheran. And she's from Minnesota by way of Norway. And just we never talked about.
Well, you said she's LDS, but you said Lutheran.
Well, to me, she went over. She grew up Lutheran, and then she went over to LDS, and then to nowhere. I guess I'll put it that way, because people lose their. I guess I don't want to call it faith or whatever you want to call it. I don't solicit to that kind of stuff. So, whatever works for you. Because to me, it's all BS.
Yeah. So I used to work with a guy who was LDS, and kind of during lunch when you not doing anything, kind of sit around, and he started talking about some of the tenets and some of the history of the church, and it's interesting, a lot of how all this stuff kind of came about up in upstate New York with Joseph Smith, and and the angels coming to him, and him finding the tablets and reading them, and it's just a whole. It's the origin story is kind of it as religions go. It's kind of weird, right? I think because it's relatively recent, right? This isn't. And if you tell the Mormon story, and if it's you're telling this story and it's 5,000 years ago, right? Then you kind of like, well, because that's how religion is, right? It's told from these times that you really can't really kind of wrap your head around it in the context of the religion, right? But if something happened in like 17 whatever it was in the 1700s or 1800s, that's pretty recent, right? This is post U.S., right? These people are in the United States, and they kind of put together this whole new religion. So it's interesting. A lot of it is, I think.
Yeah, it was. There was a scene in there because the guy Andrew Garfield's playing a detective, and then his partner is Native American, and so they dealt with that issue. And there was one leader of the church of Mormon that came in, and he started trying to play on the guy, on the character, the Native American character's senses, as far as our people have been aligned, way back. I shouldn't have to tell you this story about how we bonded together to do this thing. And he was like, yeah, my grandfather told the story very differently from what you're saying. And that goes back to whose story is put out there and whose story is hammered home into people that becomes fact, And I thought, again, that was another telling part in the movie. It was really, really, really good, really good.
There's a documentary about Al Sharpton called Loudmouth. My wife was watching this morning. I had already watched it. so I wanted to make sure she watched all the way to the end and stuff. It does. It's essentially produced by Al Sharpton. It, it it does a great job of going back to his early days in the National Action Network and the NAACP and his community activism in New York. Spends spends a little time on the Tawana Brawley case. I think there's a couple highlights of when he took on Candace Owens' case. A lot more prevalent. Well, I guess it's geared a lot more now towards what's going on with Black Lives Matter and policing reform. I had always liked his fervor for community activism. I had always liked the fact that, he never backed down from a fight. They do a pretty good job of going back into his family life, his early life. And for me personally, I think that's where I gained a whole new appreciation for Al Sharpton and what he's done. It's I think it's about an hour, 40 minutes, but it's an easy watch. It's a real easy watch.
Where the streaming?
I think it's on. It is on. It's streaming on BT Plus, Showtime, and it's BT Plus, Prime Video, BT Plus, and Showtime.
Yeah.
And you can rent it on Prime Video for $1.99. That's $2 well worth spending.
Yeah, I mean, so it's amazing how little we kind of know about guys like Al Sharpton or any of the other kind of. So case in point, right? So when I was at home, me and Mark went to hang out with one of his friends, and this friend had actually been a staffer up here in DC, right? And he had did some I forgot which congressman he was working with, but say again, Mark. Okay, I can barely hear you. Okay.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
His name is Earl Hilliard.
Oh, okay, yeah. And we were talking, and then kind of, he started talking about Marion Barry, right? And so he was talking about Marion Barry and some of the things that had happened with Marion Barry that had made all this, national, pretty much international news, right? Because he was the mayor of Washington D.C., which is kind of the seat of the seat of power in the United States. Well, quite frankly, in the world. And he did not know about Marion Barry, how he came to this prominence, right? How like in 1968, 67, wherever it was, Marion Barry was a hostage at that Islamic center and was shot and saved all these people's lives and did all this stuff, right? It was kind of kind of like, wow, I didn't know that about him. And so I think it's the same with like Al Sharpton, right? Because all we know is kind of the character that was built in the media about Al Sharpton, right? It's, if you say Al Sharpton, you think Tawana Brawley probably first, right? And maybe his presidential run, and then a couple of other kind of salacious stories, right? But not about the the grassroots activism that he kind of created um, in his in New York and other places. So yeah, I'll check that out because I like to like D I like to learn stuff, right? But I like to look past kind of the thing that everybody knows, kind of the thing that everybody puts up, right? It's Al Sharpton, right? You think of the hair, and then you think of Tawana Brawley, and you think of he was a big guy that's now a little guy, size wise, and then all this other kind of you know bullshit that surrounds these public figures.
Yeah.
But when you really start looking into their lives, you can understand how these guys got to where they were.
Yeah.
And we usually look at people and kind of make a determination on a lot of stuff based on their worst day.
Yeah.
Or
packaging. It's how it's packaged.
right. Yeah. And we have to.
Something that what's it, Candace Owens. He worked with Candace Owens on her discrimination case, and now she talks about him like she never saw him, never talked to him, anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so that probably deserves a little bit more conversation too, because that was interesting. This whole because when you think Al Sharpton and Candace Owens, you're like, well, that's kind of oil and water, right? They're polar opposites of the spectrum now. But yeah, I do remember that. Anyway, all right. What else?
Were y'all talking about the Mount Rushmore of actors or whatever? Or
Well, I mean, I would do that, but mine are going to be so great that you guys are probably pale in comparison, right? So if I go, four, let's just go five. Five on your Mount Rushmore of actors, right? And it can be male or female, obviously. Um, and we can break it up into genres like comedy, drama. But I would rather. I'm just gonna give you mine. Then you three guys can give me
in
yours.
general,
Right? Say again.
just be actors in general.
Yeah. Actors in general. So I think that the best actor in the world for the last 15, 20 years, Viola Davis. I would go and see a Viola Davis movie just because of the Viola Davis movie,
You
right?
still have
And
this though.
I did not see Fences. I got it. We've already discussed that. Okay,
I just
that's one.
And you know the strange thing about that? We had a cousin that had a cameo in Fences.
Really? Who?
Gates, yeah.
Who?
Gates.
Oh yeah, that's what's his name was talking about. Okay, all right. That aside, so Viola Davis is my number one, right? I think she's the best actor in the world.
I would
Number
have
two,
never thought of that.
Denzel Washington. If you can't get behind Denzel Washington, then there's something wrong with you, right? I think he's probably it's like 1 and 1A with me with those two. I will probably and again I hadn't seen movies like The Equalizers because I don't know I have a thing with certain movies, but I think he's great. He's number three, Ed Norton, right? He has one questionable movie on his
Ah,
just
wait.
one on
On his
his
resume.
IMDb, and I quite frankly, the only reason I say that because I don't want G to mention it after I say it, but that's just one movie I think, and the rest of them I think are fantastic. When you look at movies like Primal Fear, American History X, um, um, what's the other one? I'm trying. Motherless Brooklyn. he's just a phenomenal actor. And number 4, it's kind of, for me, it's kind of weird, right? It comes out of the comedy genre. And I know that I'm going to get some flack for it, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think at one point, Eddie Murphy was the biggest movie star in the world. And I think that in his later years, right, the last few years, movies like Mr. Church, My Name is Dolomite, or Dreamgirls, are just proof positive of how good an actor he was. I mean, he had some terrible movies in between those, right? And that's been well documented. But a guy who did Beverly Hills Cop, another 40, he did Beverly Hills Cop, 48 Hours, all these other movies in the early 80s, now to be in movies like Mr. Church, Dreamgirls, My Name is Dolomite, and well, he did one a little while ago, which I didn't really like. Okay, but those 4 to me are, without a doubt, the best actors.
You get one more.
Say again?
Get one more.
So I'll get one more for 5. I mean, the 5th one, I don't really know. I just throw one out there, somebody who I like, I guess. I don't know. The 5th one is tough. I'll go because people know I love his acting, Vince Vaughn. I love everything he's in. I really like him in series acting. So I'll throw him in there. I'm pretty sure if I sat here and thought a little bit longer, I can find somebody else. But I really like Vince Vaughn movies. But I think it's funny. I think they're all funny. I know he played Vince Vaughn in every movie, but he's pretty good. Anyway, all right. So those are my 5. Who do I want to go next? You know what? I'm gonna go.
Mark.
I was going. That's one. I'm gonna go with you, Mark. So
Number 1, Sam Jackson.
you waiting on some pushback?
No. I just number 2. You got one. You got number 2 for me is Eddie Murphy.
You're welcome. Okay.
Number 3, Denzel.
So you got Eddie Murphy in front of Denzel?
I mean, it not in particular order.
I know. I got you. I'm just messing with you. All right.
If it came from left to right, it's gonna be Denzel. Then Sam Jackson and Eddie Murphy gonna be 4 and 5.
Okay. That's 3.
Okay. Number 2 is Pacino.
I can deal with that. I can go with that. I mean, yeah. All right. But Pacino did some crazy, some offbeat shit too in his stretch. But guy been acting since.
I wanted to watch a movie, and if these guys are starring in it, I will watch it. And number 3 for me is De Niro.
Okay, so you got
Denzel, Pacino, De Niro, Jackson, Murphy.
That's a pretty strong lineup. I mean, I think that it's I think Pacino, De Niro, and Denzel are like 3 people that everybody says. I'm not saying that I mean that's your opinion, but I think those 2 are what are kind of mom and apple pie. Everybody says those 2. But I got you, and I appreciate that. Okay. I'm gonna save you for last, G, because I know yours is gonna be, like Buddy Hackett, the guy who played Thurston Howell III,
The 3 Stooges, Shemp.
Yeah, Shemp, and the guy who played Ultraman.
Eddie
I don't know why that made me laugh. All right.
Murphy.
That's funny.
Go ahead, Derek.
This is not in any order. So
Okay.
it's not about ranking. Viola Davis.
Great pick.
De Niro. Jessica Lange. I think Jessica Lange is the best crier ever. She just, I mean, the way she cries is just like, ugh.
I would what's the girl name? Go ahead. I'm gonna get back to you on that. I'm gonna pull her up.
Kate Winslet would be another one. Jeffrey Wright.
Oh, come on now.
I do like Jeffrey Wright.
Come on.
And how many is that? 4?
Yeah.
And I like Ed Harris. I think Ed Harris brings he does some stuff that I just really enjoy.
Okay. Have you? Hold on. Let me make sure. First off, I was talking about the best crier, Kimberly Elise.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah, John Q's wife.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. She cries angrily almost. And I don't know. I mean, cause like in John Q, she like through the tears, she was, you go do something. Damn, well,
Tears before a raw emotion, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Now,
Jessica Lange can cry like it was Cape Fear, The Postman Always Rings Twice, American Horror Story. I mean, everything she's in, if she's crying, she has a way of crying. It is so, I guess, and most actors would pull from some source of pain to convey that, but she just pulls it off for me. She's like the best crier because she has the hands going and everything just shaking. So yeah, she's one of my favorites. I like Sandy Newton also. I think she brings a lot of stuff to the table.
I ain't gonna ever let her live down, beloved.
who was that?
Sandy Newton, beloved.
Oh, no, Danny News. I like Danny News. She's a good actor too. Okay.
You mentioned Ed Harris. Have you ever seen this movie he was in called Paris Trout?
Oh, Paris Trout, boy.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, the first time Patty tried to get me to watch that, I had to get up and walk away.
Yeah.
It was so hard and
Yes.
wrong for me. The scene in the kitchen with the kids when they first start, I had to walk out. It took me, I had to wait a couple of months. I had to watch it with my mom. And that was a difficult watch for me. The initial onset, and then it got better,
Yeah.
went on. But Paris Trout was raw, boy. That Dennis Hopper was something else.
I did not like Dennis Hopper for a long time after watching that movie.
That was a watch.
Yeah. That was a tough watch. I can't remember who turned me on to it, but when I watched it, I sat there and watched it from the first minute to the last, and I think I want to watch it again. That's one of the few movies I probably have a couple hundred DVDs that I still hold on to, and Paris Trout is one of those ones that I'll never get rid of. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Paris Trout was like it's almost scary.
Yeah.
It's like yeah. So okay.
Since you guys have named a few that would already be on my Mount Rushmore, that just kind of gave me the freedom to just go pick another top 5. Just know that Denzel, Samuel L. Jackson, Viola, De Niro, Pacino, they would all be on my list. So now that you freed that up for me, you're giving me the luxury to create another top 5.
All right, let me do this real quick. Whenever we get done, you guys, when you jump off, just go to a YouTube short or whatever, and watch the scene between Chris Tucker and Sam Jackson and Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown.
That may be, and it came out. That may be one of the best scenes I've ever seen before.
Now, which one? When they were in the hotel?
To the hotel, from the hotel to the
No,
car?
no, when they're standing outside by the car.
Car,
Yeah.
yeah.
And he said, all you got to do is just jump out and rack it. And then Chris Tucker talking about, I'm not getting in that dirty ass trunk. That whole, like, I don't know, minute 30, 2-minute exchange was some of the best act. Please go back and watch. In the context of this conversation, just watch that scene.
What are you
It
talking?
is
What was the chicken place or what was the restaurant?
Roscoe's.
Go to
Roscoe's.
Roscoe's.
We're gonna go to Roscoe's. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna erect another head on mine and put Sam Jackson on there because that was just, I mean, it was superb.
You get out the trunk, rack that motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm sorry, G. Go ahead.
So with that being said, Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks played absolutely. Look, he's getting typecast now, kind of like, Liam Neeson has another movie coming out, and it's, I think, Retribution or some shit. Anyway, he's getting typecast like that now. But I can honestly watch Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is, so you think about, for me, when I'm thinking Tom Hanks, I'm thinking about Castaway. I'm thinking about Forrest Gump. I'm thinking about what was the war movie?
Saving Private Ryan.
Private Ryan. You talking about a guy that has a range. Tom Hanks has a great range.
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. He's played in, comedies, romantic comedies. He's played in dramas. He's played in war movies. He's done it all. So I like his range. And so Tom Hanks will go on my next Mount Rushmore. Daniel Day-Lewis, without a doubt, hands down, one of the greatest actors of this time. I don't think I've ever watched Daniel Day-Lewis in a bad movie. And if you've never seen Blood, have missed out on the greatest acting performances ever. He is amazing. I said one of, Lev, not the. Let me see. A guy that doesn't get a lot of credit, Lawrence Fishburne.
So can we have a Lawrence Fishburne discussion?
Yes, let's.
Right. So obviously he kind of exploded on the scene right in Apocalypse Now when he was playing clean, right? So very young, like 17, 18-year-old. Yeah,
16.
playing that. Say again?
He was actually 16.
Yeah. All right. So obviously that's an iconic role, right? And then you have to fast forward all the way up until, I think, Deep Cover, right? That's what I think is probably his next most iconic role is Deep Cover, right? and then you go from Deep Cover to What's Love Got to Do with It, right? There were some other ones in there, kind of the one he did with Ellen Barkin,
Bad
uh,
company.
Bad Company. So that was I thought that was a pretty good one. But that's like 4 or 5, right? And I think Bad Company is kind of a movie that you got to be a Lawrence Fishburne fan to know about, remember it. But it's only really 3, I think.
Then let me fill in the gaps for you.
Please do.
So you got the Cotton Club where he played Bumpy.
Not a good movie.
You like High Learning?
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna let you go. But I didn't like that.
The Color Purple. He played Swain, the guitar player.
That's not his. That's not a. Okay.
I'm just telling you. And there was a whole bunch of Gardens of Stone.
I mean, Higher Learning was a good role for him. I thought Higher Learning was good for him.
So
hold on.
Those are more cameos than roles.
School Days.
Okay, you know what? School Days. I'll add School Days.
King of New York.
Who?
King of New York.
He was terrible in King of New York.
He was terrible in King of New York. But King of New York, no, I take that back. He was not terrible in King of New York.
I think his role in King of New York was just over the top.
Okay. Did you ever see Cadence?
One of my favorite movies.
Okay. All right.
But in Cadence, that was more Charlie Sheen, right? Martin Sheen. The guy who played Sweet. Can't think of his name now. And the other brother who was a little bit more intellectual, the one that he actually had a death penalty charge. Right. So Lawrence Fishburne, it was Lawrence Fishburne as Lawrence, he's the guy that you're gonna recognize, guy you're gonna notice. But
y'all missed the one.
I mean, his Matrix role was iconic. I mean, Morpheus is iconic for him.
I'm getting there. Boys in the Hood.
I was about to say Furious Styles.
I know, but those are just kind of. So he was just used as a plot device in Boys in the Hood, right? The only thing that he was doing in Boys in the Hood was to be able to connect the violence of these gangs and other people to the gentrification of the places that they were fighting over, right?
And I get that. I completely understand what you're saying. All I'm saying is he does not get credit for being a great actor. So everybody can't be the leading guy in every movie. We can't have a whole bunch of Denzels running around here wanting to be the star in every movie. I think
he got nominated for an Academy Award for What's Love Got to Do with It, right? So
I think he's comfortable in that role. I think that Lawrence realizes that, he's not going to be the leading guy. People don't see him like that. So, and again, I think that's what makes him a very effective actor. So let me finish.
You can say the same thing about Sam Jackson.
That's true.
But I would venture to say that Sam Jackson has probably had more leading roles than Lawrence Fishburne. And there probably hadn't been that many, maybe 2 or 3 separates them. But, again, I think Lawrence Fishburne is comfortable in that role that he brings to a movie. So we got Higher Learning and Bad Company, Just Cause,
with Sean Connery, Tuskegee Airmen. I would almost say he was the lead in that movie. Othello,
Remember Othello.
Fled, Miss Everett's Boys, Hoodlum.
You know what?
And then the
I would
Matrix.
I would add Hoodlum to that because he was playing Bumpy Johnson again in Hoodlum, I believe.
Yep.
And that's I think okay, so I would add Hoodlum to the short list that I put out there.
Did you ever see this movie he played called Five Fingers?
Oh yeah, Five Fingers was something else.
Five Fingers, don't spoil it for me, but Five Fingers is a good movie.
Yeah, it is.
His now ex-wife was in the movie with him. And who was that? Ryan Phillippe?
Yeah.
There's only like 4 actors in the whole movie.
Minimum actors.
Okay, I love movies like
that. So check out Five Fingers. I think there's 5 actors. Let's see. Yeah, a whole bunch of other things that ain't nobody ever seen.
Okay, so I guess what you're saying is, or what you're trying to illustrate through running through that his filmography is that he's prolific. I got it. He is, but maybe 4 or 5, and out of all that is kind of above the average. You know what I mean? Or that's great, right? And you can't even count the first one, Apocalypse Now, but it's just the one that's kind of near and dear to my heart because that's the first time I'd ever seen or old enough to understand who at the time was Larry Fishburne. And didn't understand how young he was, and he's out there holding his own against guys like Dennis Hopper and Martin Sheen and the whole thing, right? So I got it, but later on, man, I see like 2 or 3 maybe. But okay, who else you
got? This is probably not going to be a popular choice, but it's my Mount Rushmore. So Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt has a string of movies that I could put together that could take me through a whole weekend that I would enjoy, without a doubt.
I cannot believe that would happen.
Oh yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay. So let's go back since we're going to discuss this. We're going to go back. Let's start with Thelma and Louise.
Again, very
look,
small. Like
I get what you're saying. Okay. I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
All right.
A River Runs Through It. One of my favorite movies.
Well, okay, but
California.
Yep.
California was good.
Interview with a Vampire.
Are you smoking weed?
Yeah. Give me a moment.
Yes, I am.
Oh man, that was classic.
7.
7 is 7 one of those movies that you just say, I'm never going to be this good again. All right, so that's
none of us picked Morgan Freeman.
That's true.
Because why we pick Morgan Freeman? Because we can, let's have a Morgan Freeman discussion after this. But
okay.
it's only a few. Go ahead.
All right.
So I want to hear one. It's 7.
No.
Oh, Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Come on, man.
I'm getting there. 7 years in Tibet. Meet Joe Black.
Inglorious Bastard.
Club. Snap. Ocean's 11. Confessions of a Dangerous Mind.
So let's go
Ocean's-
back. Let's just jump back just a little bit, right? Confession of a Dangerous Mind is Sam Rockwell. That's his
Yeah.
movie. Pitt was in it, but that's his movie. But so was George Clooney. So
Ocean.
Snatch. Hold up, G. Hold up. Snatch was not Brad Pitt movie, right? That's one of those Guy Ritchie movies where it's told in this non-linear storytelling, and you got.
I'm giving you his filmography.
Okay, all right.
You chop this up however you want to. I'm telling you. So, Ocean's 12, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Babel, Ocean's 13, Burn After Reading, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Inglorious Bastards, Moneyball, Killing Them Softly, World War Z, 12 Years a Slave, Fury, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Babylon. There you go.
I mean, I can go back and kind of pick those apart, right? But why do we want to do that? Right?
Because that's who you are. That's why.
No, so when the people that I have on my Mount Rushmore, the actors that I have on there, are you look at their filmography, you go, that guy carried this movie, right? She carried that movie. The movie, she was the headliner, she was the top bill. So in a lot of those Brad Pitt movies that you were talking about, like the all the Ocean, the 11, 12, and 13, right? Ensemble cast, right? Not only do you have George Clooney, you got Matt Damon, you got all these other actors in there, like Julia Roberts was in Ocean's 11 and 12 and 13 too. Catherine Zeta-Jones was in 12. And it just look at it.
Well, you see how this is veered off, though? This is veered off from actors to movies. And we're not talking about movies because you can have a great performance in a bad movie.
Yeah.
But this is definitely veered off into what you think of movie, the quality of the movie from just actors.
And Julia Roberts and Matt Damon won't make anybody's Mount Rushmore. I don't believe anyway. And again, like you said,
Is the worst.
I'm talking about. And I gave you the caveat before I started my list that you guys had already picked almost all of my top 5.
Yeah,
So
I got it.
So given that liberty, now I'm picking another top 5.
I got it, and I understand that. But you need to do better.
Uh-uh.
Wow.
And I think lastly, I'm gonna go with. I gotta go. I got to. Clint Eastwood.
Okay, all right. You know what? You're not taking this serious. You don't want to do this. Hey, next time, just say you don't want to do it, and then we'll do something else. But you don't want to do this.
Clint Eastwood, Spaghetti Western,
So you talking about somebody who plays the same guy in all his movies?
He
So
does not play the same. Okay, here in the last 20 years, he's played the same guy now. Some disgruntled war veteran sitting on his couch or sitting on his porch
it's the
telling
same thing. He played the
talking about-
vigilante and all these other movies, first movies, you know, the Dirty Harry movies, the what was the other ones that the Deadpool movies? Not Deadpool. He was in a movie called Deadpool, wasn't he? Yeah.
So I have an honorable mention. Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman does good work, or did good work.
You know the thing that really, you ever see the French Connection?
Yeah.
I hated Gene Hackman so much in the French Connection that I found it hard to like him in any other movie, and that's a testament to his acting, right?
Yeah.
But him playing his portrayal of Popeye Doyle in that movie, I literally hate. If I had seen Gene Hackman in Target, I'd have ran up and tackled him.
Can I throw in an honorable mention?
Yeah.
Delroy Lindo.
Who?
Delroy Lindo?
Hey, Mark, hold on. I think I'm getting a phone call. Hold up. Yeah. No, it's a text. The text says Mark has no idea what he's talking about.
Delroy Lindo is a good actor, man.
Okay. He's a character actor. I mean, I like him. I loved him in you know what? I only liked him in a couple of things though. I liked him in Get Shorty. I thought he was good in Get Shorty. I loved him in Get Shorty.
He kind of plays the same actor in everything.
Yeah.
I liked him in he was good in Crooklyn. That was a good role, and that was years ago.
Romeo.
But like, did you ever see the Spike Lee movie? God dang it! About the Vietnam vets who went back over to Vietnam. Clark Peters was in it.
That movie was the worst movie ever freaking made.
Yeah, and let me tell you, it didn't do Delroy Lindo no justice. It didn't do him any favors either.
Isaiah Washington.
Yeah.
Oh my! And I hated that for him. I mean, my love for Senator Clay Davis is knows no bounds. But him in that damn movie, I can't remember the name of that movie now. Oh, that was garbage. That was trash. It was hot trash. That was bad.
What was the name of that movie? You know what, Donnie? It was that was the last thing I think I saw Delroy Lindo in. And the vehicle wasn't good for him. I don't think it just wasn't a good movie. But Mark, I mean, you know, Mark, you can like whoever you like. I mean, that's cool. But what I'm gonna need you to do is kind of think about stuff before you say it. He's a great character actor. I mean, you know, if we're talking about, you know, an honorable mention.
But five Bloods.
Yeah, the
Five Bloods. That's what it was.
Yeah. What you know, and your argument with G with his honorable mention 5, what you should have said is, if we're going to do a Mount Rushmore, they need to be lead actors.
Well, I mean,
it's not just actors. It should have been lead actors.
Right, but you know, it's the Mount Rush. I mean, if we're doing a Mount Rushmore of character actors, then that you know, you have to have 100 heads on there.
Right. So, but I mean, he named some character actors, but they're actors.
Who named character actors? No, he didn't. Did you name a character actor?
I don't think so.
I think everybody named lead actors except you did Delroy Lindo, who I think is I just think I obviously the guy's talented. I think he's a great actor, but you know, nobody kind of building a movie around Delroy Lindo. I don't imagine. He's a great actor, I mean, without a doubt.
All right. Now, We're about to go. We're about to quickly go through Clint Eastwood's filmography, starting in 1965. Fistful of Dollars, $2 more.
Okay. So let's do this. Because, I mean, I got it. All right, we're gonna have a Clint Eastwood conversation, but a fistful of dollars, a few dollars more, hang 'em, howl it. That's one movie. That's one. That is one movie. All right. So I'm serious now. Listen to me. That's
It's
one
not-
movie. All the way up
Hang-
to Outlaw Josie Wells. All that's one movie.
Hang 'em out. 2 Mules for Sister Sarah.
One movie.
Play Misty for me.
Okay, that's a different movie, but that's still in the other genre because he only has three.
Then we got Dirty Harry,
Okay,
Joe Kidd, High Plains Drifter,
one movie.
then Magnum Force,
Dirty Harry, that's one movie.
The Iger Sanction,
Okay,
which was a pretty good movie. Outlaw Josie Wells,
still one movie.
The Enforcer,
One movie.
Every Which Way But Loose,
That's the other piece. Any which way you can. Go ahead.
Escape from Alcatraz,
Okay, I can.
Bronco Billy,
Back to the Cowboy. One movie.
Honky Tonk Man,
Back to the Cowboy thing. One movie.
Sudden Impact,
Back to the Dirty Harry thing. One movie.
Tail Rider,
Back to the Cowboy thing. One movie.
Heartbreak Ridge.
Military.
I'm gonna give him a pass on Heartbreak Ridge.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. Gunny Howard, The Deadpool,
Again,
Yeah.
back to the Dirty Harry thing.
Unforgiven,
Back to the Dirty Harry. I mean, back to the Cowboy thing.
not the same movie.
It's the same movie.
The same movie. In the Line of Fire,
That's going
Kind of a
The Bridges of Madison County.
well,
totally different.
they're completely different. And
Right.
I don't know if
They're
you
grand-
saw it or anybody else saw it, but I thought it kind of sucked. But that's just me. I just didn't dig it.
He started going with the softer movies. That and Gran Torino was kind of on the same vein as well.
The one he should have got nominated on is The Mule, which was one of my favorite movies.
What is wrong with you?
Wait a minute. One of your favorite movies is The Mule?
From him, yes.
Who, me?
What?
Mark.
That was a good movie.
Man, I know I need to call my mama now so she can get them birth certificates out. Somehow.
That Mule was a good movie.
$1 Million Baby.
That was a good one.
Yeah, it was okay.
Gran Torino. The Mule. I haven't seen Cry Macho.
Same movie. So, from 1965 all the way up to 2020, whatever, he's made all these movies, but they're really, I mean, they're really only just three movies.
No.
Okay, all right. We just got to agree to disagree because if you looked at that with objectively, like with a critical eye, you would see that like all those cowboy movies are the same movie.
They're not.
Yeah.
A Fistful of Dollars, A Few Dollars More, and The Good, the Bad, the Ugly is a trilogy. All the rest of those are different movies. Outlaw Josie Wells is nothing like those three movies. Pale Rider is nothing like those other three movies. Hang 'em
So
High,
it's not
those other three movies.
it's not some avenging angel that comes back to take out his revenge on some other cowboys who had done something wrong to him. And I understand that Outlaw Josie Wells is more. That's right after the Civil War, right?
Movie ever freaking made.
that you're insane.
Name of one cowboy movie where some cowboy isn't coming back for revenge on somebody else.
Exactly. And that's all he did. That's the whole thing.
That's all he did.
Okay.
And you're the same person that you, Mark. He's the same person that said when we were talking about Eddie Murphy last week, talking about the first 48 and Beverly Hills Cop. Shit. 1, 2, and 3 are the same freaking movies, and 3 was absolute ass.
But that's different though, right? That's Beverly Hills. That is Eddie Murphy playing Axel Foley, who is the Detroit cop who goes to Beverly Hills. So Beverly Hills 1, Beverly Hills Cop 2, Beverly Hills Cop 3 are all about the same character. So of course they're the same movie, right? Hang 'em High, A Fistful of Dollars. What was the other one? Good, the Bad, and Ugly. They're different movies, but about the same thing. Different character, but it's about the same thing.
All cowboy movies are about the same thing.
Okay.
If it ain't Rhinestone Cowboy or the Electric Horseman, shit, they all about some cowboy coming back for revenge.
Okay.
I want you, Jimmy, to read the reviews on the music. I really want you to read the reviews on that.
You ain't gonna read them.
He was nominated, but he should have been nominated for it.
The only thing I need to review movies is right here. That's all I need. I don't need to read a review. I need to, these two things right here, all I need. And I'm gonna tell you right now, when I started watching the Mule, I should be doing something else.
You didn't give it a chance. You just didn't want to watch through the whole thing. But read the reviews on it, man.
I'm gonna watch Under the Banner of Heaven. I want to start that tonight. Right? And I'll watch a couple of episodes of that. And then I will rent the Mule. But I'm gonna tell you right now, Mark.
See, here you go.
When I turn it off in like 5 minutes, I need you to put that money into my account that I spent on that movie, or me and you gonna have a problem. The next time I see you, me and you gonna have a real big problem. Because
you need to give that thing a chance, man. That was a good movie.
Okay.
Hey, Mark, do me a favor and tell him you're gonna cash out him whatever you owe.
Hey, don't worry about all that. He can put it in my Navy Fed account. I don't need Cash App or Venmo or.
Mark, tell him the only way he gonna get reimbursed. Mark, I'll reimburse him for you. I'm gonna pay you by Cash App. That's the only way you gonna get this money, pimping.
Do you have a Cash App, Derek?
Huh?
Do you have Cash App or Venmo? Do you?
Both. Zeely, whatever it is. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask this question. Why?
It's a quicker way to get money now.
Oh, I got it. But why? Mark, why do you, Derek, why do you have Cash App or Venmo?
For me, I got a 20-year-old down in college.
Okay.
There you go.
Quickest way to get money.
If your 20-year-old had a bank account in the same institution that you had, like let's say she had a bank account, you got her a Navy Fed account.
Which she does.
Right. You can just go in your Navy Fed account and just send that money just as fast as through Cash App or anything else.
Sometimes, if you do too many transactions, they'll put it on hold first.
Okay. How many transactions do you think you're gonna be doing monthly?
I'm just saying, like Cash gives you the money right then.
So does Derek, you got a Navy Fed account, right?
Yeah.
And I needed to send you some money one time.
Mm-hmm.
I put it in there. 15 minutes later, all the way out in California, you had that money. What is the difference between that and Cash App or Venmo?
I use the other pay services for paying, contractors, landscaping, stuff like that. So, because I'm not giving them cash, so I use it for that need.
It,
Paying
it's
stuff like that.
the
And I'm giving them my card to scan anything. Most of them don't have it anyway, but I'm not giving you something that can be later compromised. If I just send you, if I pay you through Cash App or Venmo, you're protected, I'm protected.
They don't have your card number, nothing.
it's and these kids are way past cash now. You can't. It, my niece told me that carrying cash was childish. That's what they told me.
It's the truth. That's what they think.
Let me tell you what cash did for me.
It,
think-
it is the truth.
One particular time I was buying a car from somebody, and I'm giving them cash. The guy brought a marker that they use at the store to make sure it's real. So cash wasn't even good. It was just like
Jimmy.
he's sitting there doing it, and I was kind of offended, but then I got it. Okay, I get it. Cash is no good.
Come to Fairfield, Alabama next Friday and go to a football game and throw your $10 up there to go in the game. You know what they're gonna say? That money is not good here anymore.
Yeah, you can't even. A friend of mine asked to borrow money. I went to Bank of America to put cash in his account. We're talking less than $500. They would not take it.
Wells Fargo wouldn't do it for me either. Right.
They would not take it. I had to write a check.
So somebody
They would
took
not
a
take
check
cash,
from
so they were
you.
looking at it as money laundering.
Okay. So I thought there was some type of limit before they would even do that, like $10,000 or whatever. I got it. I get it. But you can do bank transactions just as fast as you can do Cash App transactions if the two parties are a part of the same institution.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, I don't want to have that interaction with someone that I'm doing, like my landscapers. I don't want them to have, me sending money from my, I have a slush fund account with US Bank that I just use for petty cash stuff. I'll do money out of that thing to someone, but for my Navy Fed, my main source of where I have my money, no, I can't be doing that with just rudimentary people that I'm coming across. Nah, can't do that.
And again, I think it's a different mindset with these kids nowadays. They don't want cash. I have to physically force my people to in their cars, especially down here in the South and stuff. Not everybody's taking debit cards, or you don't ever know when you're gonna get stuck out there and you got to put some gas in your vehicle and the machines are down and they only taking cash and stuff. You keep a hot 20 in your car just for those 30s and stuff. It's nobody's just doing it anymore. I think the only bill I have that I write a check for is water and my mom guy is probably in his 70s, and I know he doesn't have Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. And the only reason I'm not paying my water bill digitally is because they charge you a $3.75 service fee, no matter what service you use.
Yeah.
And so and it's right up the street. So yeah, I'm gonna go drop that check in the drop off box in the payment box every month. But everything else, man, shit, it's just.
And so this is the other thing I don't understand for Mark, right? Mark is touting the convenience of these electronic payments, right? Venmo and Cash App and all this. But every time I'm down there, Mark is still writing checks to like Sears.
Right, checks, Jimmy. I hadn't wrote since 1997 when I was a bail bondsman.
Mm.
I have never wrote a check.
Right. He'll say, "Hey, hey, run with me real quick to, to J.C. Penney's so I can pay my bill."
Wait. He still paid off that Maytag washer and dryer at Sears.
All kind of crazy stuff, man.
Goddamn.
All kind of crazy stuff. I got hold up, man. Let me run down here to to some place to pay off this wash and dryer I just got.
That's fine.
Come on, man. You attack me for being like this neophyte with
Look,
with these other electronic things, but you yourself,
Jimmy, I'll do the same thing, but now I'm starting to catch up. I was the youngest person in my department 25, 26 years ago. Now I'm the oldest. And they call me Fred Flintstone. And I'm like, now I've met somebody that's even worse. I'm Bonnie Rubble now. You're Fred Flintstone. If you're not using Cash App and all of that stuff, man, because that's the way of, that's the present now, man.
Okay, Mark, you remember not the last time you came up, because that was for Wood's graduation, but it was the time before that, when you said, "Hey, man, take me to Sears so I can make a payment." I was like, I didn't know Sears still existed. Right?
Back then it did. It was because I bought some appliances from them, man.
But we had to drive 25 miles or somewhere where you had to hand the person your credit card to pay a bill. Now I'm being attacked because, I say that, if you're with the same financial institution, transferring money is just as quick as it would be with any of these other things.
It's all online now, man. And just like I said, you can't go to a football game. Sorry about that, Chief. You can't go to.
Let me ask this question. You think Joe North got a Navy Fed account?
He does not. But I know what you're trying to get to. He has a Cash App. I got it. And it'd probably be quicker just to pay him through that. But
every year we go through this shit at fantasy football time. It's the Mr. Checks in the mail, Mr. I ain't got around to it yet, Mr. Fuck Joe North. He'll get my fantasy football fees when I get them to him. When he can easily just Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Joe North the money, and it'd be a done deal. And when you get your winnings, you get it back in the same fashion.
No, I would rather him send me cash in the mail.
And that's the thing. If I was commissioner, I would have to see you in person for you to get your money.
Nope.
I'm not wasting. How much a stamp costs now? It's like $7 a stamp.
Stamp for what? 35 cents now?
Hey, you out your try twice.
That's 65 cents now, man.
Oh, you must be smoking weed. Stamps are like,
So you must be smoking.
Look it up.
Stamps are like 35 cents.
No. Look it up. Wait,
Stamps like
stamp.
How much?
60 or 52. Some crazy shit.
Right, they go up every other year.
Okay. All right. Maybe I just hadn't mailed anything in a long time. That takes that.
But my argument is that you are costing USPS is hiking the price of a stamp to 66 cents in July.
From
shit, whatever it was, 50 something, I guess.
Yeah.
A 32% increase since 2019.
Okay, you're talking like it was $12, right? It's 60 cents.
You're the one that off at 66 cents, and you're the one saying it was still 35 cents.
Well,
So,
I don't know. Obviously, I missed a couple of rate hikes on stamps.
Yeah, I don't like having cash.
15 years.
Why don't you like having cash, Derek?
I don't like having cash because I would spend it very quickly. So it's
I don't
something
know what you
about
mean.
having cash in my pocket. If I have it, it goes like this. That's why I very seldom carry around cash. Very seldom. Because
I
I'm
don't,
gonna run through it.
I don't see where having cash would be any different from having credit or credit cards, right? If you're somewhere where you're going to buy something, right? Let's say you have $200 in your wallet.
See,
Right?
with the card, it's unlimited. With the cash in my pocket, I'm limited on what I'm gonna be able to get.
That would help you though, right?
But I'm gonna go through it quicker, and I'm gonna go back and get some more. Then I'm gonna go through that. Yeah, that doesn't work for me. It just doesn't work for me.
I'm the direct opposite. I pay for everything in cash unless it's a big ticket item. And
So you don't pay for everything in cash. You pay everything completely, or you don't put anything on credit, is what you're saying.
for me,
Yeah.
no. But I don't do a lot of, if I'm a big ticket item for me, is gonna be paid probably off my debit card. It won't be charged to my credit card.
Right.
But it just kind of depends on what it is. I carry a lot of cash on me because, first of all, I like the feel of cash. Secondly, is because we've had our cards compromised since we've been here probably 4 or 5 times.
Sure.
So not knowing, how that happened, where were we at that caused this and stuff. Typically, I'm thinking, it was probably some restaurants, fast foods, or something like that. So I completely got out of that. We go eat out probably twice a week, and so at least twice a week. And so no, and I like paying for my food and tipping in cash because they get that immediately. They don't have to, servers don't have to wait for it to come out in their check 2 weeks later, and it's taxed. So
I have a question. Why do we tip? Why am I tipping you to do the job you're supposed to do anyway?
You tip because some establishments only pay a
That ain't my
fraction.
problem. That is not my problem. That is not I have nothing to do with what your wages are. If I'm tipping you on your professionalism and how you do your job, that's something you're supposed to do anyway.
Hey, Jimmy.
Why am I tipping you?
Jimmy, be one of them kind that I don't want to eat with because you start complaining about your food, talk about take it back. We had this discussion. You know what I tell them? You're doing a magnificent job. Thank you for everything.
So what
I would never even direct it to them like that because the waiter or waitress, they're not preparing the food, so they're never gonna catch my if I wasn't pleased with something. But I don't see this whole. But you see, my point in bringing it up is that we buy into this thing, this notion of, oh, that's what you're supposed to do, but they're supposed to do their job professionally.
I don't know if you're supposed to do it. I think that you should do it.
Why?
Because
does your employer tip you?
No, okay. I'm
job?
gonna tell you a story right after I get back to G on his thing with the credit cards being compromised. So
Okay.
I don't know if I think that maybe what happened with your cards was that Jen was probably giving AJ's real dad a credit card so that he wouldn't
Here we go.
so that he wouldn't actually spill the beans on everything that happened. I get it. I know it was a long time ago, but those wounds don't heal easily. So the next time your credit card get compromised, I suggest it's a long conversation, right?
That was
All right.
way below the belt, man. You
So-
get peak, yeah.
Hey,
For years, and years, I told him wood wasn't his. Uh,
I'm just
it, it wasn't until, and I got the picture. It wasn't until Lev sent me a picture of Wood with this porn mustache. You remember that mustache he had?
yeah.
He had the porn star mustache.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was at that point when he finally started to look like his dad to me. But hell, that was probably what, 4 or 5 years ago, maybe.
I'm thinking, about 5 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. You know.
Hey,
Well,
but
that was this was his one shot at glory. He's probably been sitting on that joke for a long time.
but this is the thing. Back to Derek, and this is a great conversation that we should have. But you tip not because you're not because it's mandatory, right? It's because you should do that because some of the people in the service industries are getting paid much less um, than the minimum wage, and so um, the only way that they actually survive is off tips.
That is not the remedy of the issue, though. The fact that I just found out that even in Atlanta, I didn't know it was different minimum wages by the state. I didn't know it differentiated, by
Sure,
state.
yeah, I got
Like,
you.
minimum wage in Atlanta, in Georgia is like $7. It's $14 out here. Of course, the cost of living is higher, but it should be a standardized thing where the federal government shouldn't have to step in and say you should pay your employees better wages. So tipping to me is just, I don't
Okay,
think I should be tipping you to do your job properly.
here's my thing. So when we were in Virginia, AJ worked at I think Uno's over there off of wherever it was at. I can't remember where it was at. Anyway, she was making, I think it was $2.90 an hour
Which
as
is insane.
a waitress. And I'm saying, so that's what kind of brought my attention to tipping. I was like, that's crazy. You getting paid. Yeah, but we're supposed to make, so much in tips and stuff. And so it's that mindset that we're gonna pay you shit so that you work harder and you have a better attitude so that you can survive off tips. And who should have to work like that? So why not just pay, if you're in the service industry, pay a minimum wage, whatever it is, wherever you're at, pay them the minimum wage. And if you so desire to tip, and that's in your heart to do that, then you do it. And if not, don't.
I mean, I
Nobody's
get it.
nobody's coming to PEO wherever you're at now and tipping you unless you're getting you probably get, some performance bonus at the end of the year.
We do, and so that's my whole. I think my mentality around tipping goes back to so years ago, right? When I first started really kind of thinking about stuff like this years ago, I remember I was having like a terrible day at work, right? It was just a bad day. I was kind of short with people, and door closed, door open. I'm just don't want to talk to anybody. Just having a shit day is kind of not being the regular person that I am, right? So terrible attitude, right? That same day, somebody walked in, gave me my yearly appraisal, right? After I've been doing all this other kind of, just being just kind of a dick to other people, and then gave me a huge bonus, right? And I thought to myself, I was not judged on this one day, right? this one day when people were around me, and I was not judged on that day. You know, my overall performance dictated that I got this kind of bonus, right? And so when I go to a restaurant, if I get like poor service, or I think the waitress or the waiter is not professional or have a bad attitude, I still tip because I don't want to judge them on that same on this one interaction, understanding that they don't get paid shit, right? $3, $4 an hour. And I think it's incumbent upon us as patrons to understand that one or two things are going to happen. Either we're going to tip them, right? Or they're going to get paid a higher wage, which in turn is going to the residual effect of that is going to be the food is going to be more
They're
expensive.
not preparing the
The
food.
drinks are going to be more expensive.
They're not preparing the food. That has no basis in what's going on. And
But it's
this is what you're doing.
team, though.
If someone is having a bad day and they're giving you lousy service and you still tip them anyway, you are reinforcing a negative.
No, I'm not. I'm not
I
reinforcing.
disagree with you because there's an expectation. If you look at waiters and waitresses, they are looking. There's an expectation to be tipped.
Right, because it's built into the business model.
So what do you say when you have these tips where they're consolidated? Do you think that's fair?
I get it. That's just the way that particular organization is probably running the tip. I'm talking about the interaction between the individual person, the server, and the consumer. That's the waitress, the waiter, and the patron, right?
But the day that you had a bad day, did anybody you serve get bad service?
No, but that's not that. No. I understand what you're getting to, and I'll address it. But go ahead.
So I completely agree with Derek because I'm the guy. When I get shitty service, get your manager over here. When I get outstanding service, get your manager over here. I need to talk to him. I let it be known. Good, average is fine. I'm okay with average. If I'm getting everything that everybody else in your area is getting, I'm fine with that. But if I get extremely shitty service or I get great service, I'm calling the manager over. I'm gonna let it be known, and that's it. I'm not tipping shitty service. I'm not gonna do it.
Let me ask you this. If you're some places like you all saying, if you're in a party of 6 or more, they automatically attach a 20% or whatever gratuity on your bill. So what if you're getting shitty service, and let's just say we're all at the table and we got a significant other, but it's automatically built into your final bill.
There's gonna be some conversation somewhere. That's conversation to be made. If the service is not where it's supposed to be, there's conversation to be made. And I'm not gonna sit there and take that because I'm afraid, they're gonna mess up my food, or they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. That only further hampers them, not me, because I'm gonna get what I'm paying for. One way or the other.
Let me give you the flip side of that. Great service with a shitty crowd. We've gone to dinner with some friends from out of town, and these hillbillies work shit out of our waitress.
Yeah.
From the time they sat down, it was one thing after another, and they worked the hell out of her and left the worst tip imaginable.
Yeah.
To the point where we all walked out together. I put my wife in the car. I went back inside and tipped her again out my pocket.
Yeah.
it's I'm a huge fan of customer service. I mean that I'm just wired that way.
And
I
another
mean,
thing, I mean, Glove, we've been out together. I'm not going to sit there and I can't do that whole deciphering of the bill and you pay this amount. I got it this time, you get it next time. That's it for me. I can't do that piece. Oh, how much was your? I cannot. I cannot do that.
Okay,
I can't do it. I
you know
cannot
what?
do that.
I agree. I agree.
Can't do it. I got
Um,
it this time. Somebody else get it the next time, and we just keep moving.
yeah.
But
I
I
got
can't
you.
do that whole piecing of the bill.
Right, because there's two things I don't do in public, right?
Yeah.
That's display affection and math. What I'm saying is, what I'm saying is this. It is,
He's lying about the PDA. Now, he might
it
not.
is.
But
Oh, I do. I do. That was a joke. Of course, I publicly display affection. If I'm, the person I'm with, I'm drawn to that way. Anyway, I think what happens is what I'm saying is that we tend to judge people on this one snapshot, right? Just because I'm at a restaurant or somewhere and I get poor service or what I would estimate as poor service, then I mean I shouldn't internalize that because what you're saying is I am going to punish you because you gave me bad service. Therefore, I think that everything you do in your position is not up to standard, up to stuff. So
Flip
I am
side,
going to punish you.
I'm not going to reward you. That's all. I'm
Right.
not.
But what you're saying? I'm going to punish you
Oh, I said I'm
for
not going to reward you.
this
I'm not
for
going to.
this for our interaction. I am judging you as if what you're doing now is what you do all the time. Therefore,
I
but
told you.
Liv, what?
Disagree.
Look, they're not in the kitchen cooking.
Exactly.
All they have to do is get that hot plate to my fucking table.
I got it.
Water
I got
and
it.
make sure my Long Island iced tea straight. That's
But
all they have to do.
But what's going on is this. There are, these four people, me, you, Derek, and Mark at a table, right? Mark wants, water with lemon. I want a Coke with lime. You want a Long Island iced tea, right? And then there's another table in that same zone who want four different things. There's another table who want water with no ice, right? And then now he or she has to go over and get the order from this table. I got to make sure that because,
Wait a minute. You got to perfect your craft. Get good at what you're doing.
I got it. I really do.
With tables. Hey, work that shit out before you get there.
I
Work
do.
that-
I understand it. I do understand it. What I'm saying is that we as the consumer have to understand that there are other things going on at the same time, right? As much as we want this thing to be kind of focused generally on us, and we know that it can't, what we're demanding is that they make us feel like we're the only people there.
Don't even want
And I understand that.
egregious bad service. And bad service to me is not the food coming out late because the waiter or the waitress has nothing to do with that part of it. That's going to be the cook. If it's something that is directed to me from that waiter or waitress, that's what I would take exception with, or that's what I would applaud.
So
it's just important to build and to test something down.
Let me ask you this question then. So let's say that you walk into somewhere and there's a sign up there, and the sign says that all tips are shared between not only the wait staff but also. I'm saying, let's say you see
that strip club.
I got it. Let's say you see that you let's say you see that sign there, right? All right. So you know that everybody is sharing in this, right? And one of two things happen. Either you get some fantastic service, that waiter, that waitress makes you feel like you're the only person there and your food sucks. Or that waiter or waitress it's just a should look for another position because they just can't handle what they're doing, and the food is fantastic. Do you tip then?
The food should be good anyway. There
No,
didn't
no,
serve-
no.
no. Wait a minute. See, that's an expectation.
No, you giving the whole you giving the political the Senate committee answer.
I'm gonna give it to you straight. If a waiter or waitress is doing something outstanding, and there's a shared tip, I still may give them something directly and be like, "Hey, I'm giving this to you, and what
They
I'm gonna
can't
do,
do that.
I'm
They
gonna
can't
write."
do that.
Yeah, yes, you can.
Well, I mean, they can do anything, but they shouldn't do that because it's a shit. All the tips
I'm
are
gonna
shared.
I'm gonna put something in the shared thing as well, but that's gonna be on the receipt. But if I choose to give that person something directly, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, so when you give someone, if you lay $10 on the table, right?
Wouldn't do that.
What happens is they're supposed to take that $10
No,
and
put
put that into some whatever. I don't know how it works, right? It could be a big jar in the back where at night everybody gets a cut of that, right? Or if it's electronic, then that's how they do it, right? The question I'm asking you is that you have these two pillars of good service, right? There's the wait staff, how attentive they are and getting your order right and all that, and then there's the food, the taste. Is it what you ordered? Is it prepared the way that you asked them to prepare it? If one of those things is off, do you punish the whole group or do you just go ahead and tip anyway? Understanding that it comes out of one pot. Exactly. So
I'm expecting the food to be good.
I'm not
expecting the food to be
patronizing.
good.
I'm
That's
not
what I mean.
patronizing a place where I hope I'm not patronizing a place where it's shared tips. I wouldn't.
well, I think a lot of places are like that. We just don't know it, right? We think that we're giving the individual.
It may be.
Yeah, yeah. Because I think that I think that in the grand scheme they understand, or people understand that everybody is not going to have the same type of customer at each station, right? So there are going to be some guys like me who, regardless of the service and all that, I am going to do the customary 18% or whatever. Maybe go a little bit higher if it's better.
Even if you're ordering food to go, do you tip when you ordering food to go?
I do.
You do. I would
do.
never order. I mean, I would never tip if I'm ordering food to go.
Well,
Never.
I mean, so
Because what are you doing? You handed me a bag.
yeah, I get it. But again, so
You doing that to make yourself feel good, or you? I mean, I'm trying to get what's the rationale of you tipping for a to-go order.
Hey, D. Oh, let me hold on a second, Mark. Let me chime in, D. One day I remember downtown DC. I don't remember where we were going really, but there was this homeless guy on the street, and I watched my boy stick his hand in his pocket, pull out a wad of cash. I know he didn't count it, and shoved it in this guy's hand and kept on walking. So you two are in a Mexican standoff because he won't see your perspective and you won't see his. That's just and maybe you hit the nail on the head. Maybe he trying to make himself feel good. I don't know what, but that's who he is. He's just wired like that. So he's gonna tip. He's gonna hand out money like he's Santa Claus on Christmas and shit.
no. I understand that there's no real true kind of altruistic gesture, right? You can say that you're doing something for the other person, but let's face the fact that it makes you feel good too, right?
Mhm.
So that's a given. And I've come to grips with that with myself, and I'm pretty sure everybody has at some point if they start examining, those things in their lives. But the fact that what I'm trying to get to you, Derek, is that the person that's just handing you a bag still has something to do with the preparation of that stuff in that bag being handed to you, right? I mean, maybe they weren't actively back there, like in chopping stuff up or actually putting in the bag, but that team of individuals, all that team of people are all actively engaged in getting you that thing that whatever it is that you're walking out of there with. And I just think that they should be compensated just as well as the person who was actively engaged if they're all in one big team. That's all I'm saying.
I get that. And here's the thing. This is how I look at it. You've a person that has an establishment, let's say if it's a restaurant, you have your prices set up in accordance so that you can make money.
Sure.
You're in the business of making money.
Bottom line.
So to me, you've already taken care of that part of it. If you have not provided any service to me other than handing me a bag, it doesn't matter to me how many's on the team, what the team consists of, male, female. I can care less about that. You are giving me a bag. Thank you. And I'm gonna
Go ahead, Mark.
I had a situation like what you're talking about, and I got AAA, and I needed one of my cars to be serviced, right? The guy comes out, and he does everything he needs to do to get my car, on the trailer. I give him $10, and I got a homeboy that went berserk on me. I gave him a tip, for doing that.
I ain't built for that. My sister-in-law just had her car shipped, and she was like, should I tip the guy for, when he delivers my car to Atlanta? I was like, you paid him. What are you tipping the driver for? Trust me, he's made enough. He's good. What are you tipping for? For him doing his job and getting you your car the way he was supposed to?
It's a goodwill gesture, knowing that, hey, I know this guy's going to care more about my vehicle going to.
You've already gotten the vehicle. The vehicle's already there to you.
Okay,
So what are you tipping for?
Mr. Neva did a fine job with you two young men right there. I'm just gonna say, I don't know if Mark, I don't know if Eric has the same mindset. What about Wood?
yeah,
I mean, Big O the same way. He like to tip.
he does. Well, I mean, when I'm with him or he's with me, I kind of try to make sure that he does. But because
You have to. He does.
well, not necessarily make sure that he does, but I think that he does because he knows that I do, and it's the same with any child, right? You're taking the cues from the parents, right? If they don't do certain things, then the child won't. But the bigger picture, I think, is that obviously if everybody was paid sort of like a living wage, then we wouldn't have to worry about tipping, right? And then people go into this whole thing about, well, if I'm standing at a counter at McDonald's or some other fast food restaurant, the person at the counter is really kind of doing the same thing that someone in a sit down restaurant's doing, right? They're receiving the food from a cook, taking that food, delivering it to you, and then you either sit down in there or you take it out. I got it, but it's different because the people who work at like fast food restaurants are getting paid much more than those who work inside of your especially like a chain restaurant or some other restaurant, or anything else in the service industry.
So you trying to make the ends meet.
I try to assist them in that, sure.
Okay, well, going back to what Glove was saying earlier about you gave someone, a homeless person, a wad of money, but even in that, you see how we pick and choose who we're going to give something to. Even any panhandler that's out on the street, we could see 10 of them, but we, for whatever reason, it strikes us the right way, the right time.
You ain't lying, 'cause
We will
give
give
the
that
money.
What's that, G?
So you ain't ever gave me any money.
No, well, you waiting on that, bro. Ooh, that beer gonna be stone gray before that happens. What I'm saying is this, and you're right, Derek. So we all pick and choose. Listen, there are 200 people that I pass by in my car, to every one that I give, something to, right? Depends on the situation, right? Depending on what I have, where I am, how I feel. Which, it shouldn't be based on a feeling. That should be.
But it is. And you see how it has nothing to do with the individual. It has everything to do with you.
Right. But I'm the one who is giving whatever it is to, some other person. And true. And again, when it's not an emotionalist sort of gesture, right? If like with anything else, if I give something to somebody who I think needs it, it makes me feel good, right?
See, but you spoke about judging earlier. You just said it right there. Who you think needs it?
No, well, exactly. But well, not necessarily who I think needs it. Who I almost said who I.
Go ahead. I'm gonna wait for this.
It depends on where I am, how I'm feeling, because ultimately it's me giving something to someone else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, and so that person's situation is kind of absent from my motivation, right? So if I see a guy standing outside of somewhere and I have $25 in my pocket, hypothetically, he says, can you give me, ask for some money, right? There's sometimes I just give it all to him because that's just how I'm feeling at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's sometimes I look at him and I think to myself, well, why don't you have a job?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just keep going, right?
You have differences between men and women, how you view them as far as what you're going to give?
I mean, so that's a great question, and we should really dig into that because I think my answer would probably be a little bit different than what you think it is.
Okay.
Um,
Hey, but look, I'm real talk. I'm surprised with that hat being so tight on your head, you can feel any goddamn thing right now. This is no. That motherfucker looks like it's about to pop off any second.
it's a small hat, man. I usually have bigger hats, and this is just a large.
No, that's a small hat. That's an 8, and you need an 8.5.
Because I would tell you, if I see
It's a 7. I need a 7 3/4.
if I see a mother with kids, that messes with me, and it could be a whole scam. But I don't even think I have to get past that part of it because once I give it to you, what you go do with it is your business. I don't care at that point. But I know that seeing a mother or a woman with children messes with me optically.
Man, we need to talk about this. Because I almost feel the opposite.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it's something about being out there with your kids that is so humbling to me for someone to do that and to be asking and letting your kids hear you asking for money, just going to the post office right here.
You know what? You know what? Y'all are absolutely right. Okay, look, either we finish this up or we table to
We got to table it.
Okay.
we can go on another.